Hello everyone and good evening. Welcome to today's webinar session brought to you by Leavey School of Business from Santa Clara University, Shiksha.com. Before starting up with the presentation, I would like to introduce our presenter for today. We have Ms. Susan Marcius, Assistant Director, MS Admissions at Leavey School of Business, Santa Clara University. Thank you so much, Susan, for joining us today. I would request you to please start with the presentation.
Good morning for me. Good evening for you. My name is Susan Gutierrez. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions at the Leavey School of Business for our Specialized Master's Program. I'm so happy that you have joined today, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about Santa Clara and the opportunities that are available for graduate study. Just to let you know that I will allow questions at the end of the presentation. I do want to make sure that you get all your questions answered. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I have about 30 years of higher education experience in admissions. I've spent a number of years at Stanford Law School. I've also spent a good amount of time at Stanford's Graduate School of Business. I've also worked at City University of Seattle, and I'm now here at the Leavey School of Business. I want to make sure that the process is as easy as possible for you. I want to make sure that you are informed about your possibilities for graduate study, and we hope that you will choose Santa Clara University, specifically the Leavey School of Business, for your graduate study. So with that, I want to thank you for joining. I want to tell you a little bit about Santa Clara itself. First of all, what sets Santa Clara apart? We feel it's our place, our location. We are located in the heart of Silicon Valley, and we feel that our curriculum blends, high technology innovation in the classroom that also leads to high impact learning. And we certainly draw from innovative industries that are throughout the San Francisco Bay Area. Next. So right now, Santa Clara University is really located in the most innovative commercial region in the world. We allow students to explore business success in exciting areas like technology, business analytics. Definitely analytics is a big issue right now. A lot of companies want to make sure that their employees have these skills, but it also allows, this location also allows you the leverage of your own creativity and ingenuity. Next. So the Leavey School of Business is one of the first AACSB accredited business schools. We have approximately 85,000 square feet of space. We have 12 classrooms. We have 102 faculty offices. We have team project rooms. We have large executive rooms. We have a 100-seat seminar room. We have a business center, video conferencing capabilities, and wireless connections, state-of-the-art technology that will help drive your student success. So one question I get quite often is, why earn a business degree? Oh, go ahead next, Lakshmi. There you go. Well, there's a number of reasons. One, for earning potential, right? Everybody wants to have a higher salary and increased earning power. Also, fast tracking your career. So say, for instance, you're in a position right now and you want to accelerate that position, advance, good reason to think about a graduate study. Also, learning specific skills. So again, maybe you're in a position right now, but you want to attain that technical knowledge. for a position, maybe you want to pivot your career. Maybe you're in one area right now, but then you want to actually think about entering into a different area of expertise. So good reasons to think about a graduate degree. Next. Let me tell you a little bit about the specialized master's programs that we have at the Leavey School of Business. We have business analytics, finance and analytics, and information systems. All of our programs have a fall start, and information systems has an additional winter quarter. So all the courses start in September, that's our fall quarter, and then we also have a January start, which starts in January. The deadline for applying to these programs is April 1st for scholarship consideration, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well, so you understand the scholarship process. We offer, full and part-time options. I do list in here the number of degrees, units that you need to complete the degree. Business analytics has 48 units to complete the degree. Finance and analytics has 36 units, whereas information systems has 48. Now we have a unique different perspective as far as when our courses are taught. So all of our courses are taught in the evening. We're an evening graduate program. So although the program is full-time, you'll start your classes roughly about 5:45 in the evening, and most classes will be completed about 9:45 in the evening. This allows some of our students who live and work within the Silicon Valley to actually work full-time and then go to school in the evening. Now, I do want to mention that there are some prerequisites for each of these respective programs. Business analytics will require that you have at least two college level courses of calculus and one college level of statistics. Finance and analytics requires one college level course of calculus and one college level course of statistics. And information systems requires that you have a programming language course as part of your undergraduate record. We prefer C or C++. Work experience is not required for any of our specialized master's programs. Next. Okay, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in each of these respective specialized programs. So first is business analytics. It offers market-based perspectives and solutions with analytics. We feel that you could be a standout in the use of tools of probability, statistics, econometrics. You'll get the programming tools that you need, such as R and Python. And we feel that you will have the ability to work within teams and functional groups to deliver data-driven solutions based on your analysis of these big data data sets that are coming through the company. So we feel that you'll be able to provide some real strategic solutions. Next. So here's a little bit about the program details. I know it's really important. We are STEM qualified. So what does that mean? That means that you are allowed for a 12-month OPT as well as a 24-month extension, so 3 years total. There is a, again, full and part-time option. The full-time option is 16 months. Now, Santa Clara University is on a quarter system. So we have fall, winter, spring, and summer. Okay, so all the programs start in fall quarter. We have, again, as I mentioned, an evening and Saturday option classes. Most of the Saturday classes are usually electives, and it's cohort style. So what that means is that you will be taking the courses at the same time with your cohort. You're taking the same core courses, and then when you branch off to electives, you'll be able to sort of mix up your schedule. Again, 48 units to complete the course. We are a little bit different as far as tuition is concerned. You pay by the number of units that you take in any respective quarter. So let's just say in one quarter you take 10 units, you're going to only pay for 10 units. Let's just say in a summer quarter, you only take 4 units. So summer quarter is optionals for international students. You're only going to pay for 4 units. So that's how the tuition rate is based. Some of the core courses that you're going to be taking in business analytics would be marketing, finance, economics, and math. You have 2 programming core courses, which is Python and R. And then you have a technology course, which is in database management and some machine learning. There's a host of elective options, 12 units that you'll need to take. Some of them I've listed here, such as visualization using Tableau, big data modeling, financial analytics, fintech, deep learning, artificial intelligence, etc. So you have a wide variety of course options. Now, most importantly as well, is that all full-time students are required to participate in an industry practicum capstone project. So what does that mean? So you will be working on a real-life business problem from a Silicon Valley company, and working in teams of about 5, you will provide a solution to this company after 2 quarters. So everyone participates in that capstone industry practicum. You don't have to go out and get them. Our faculty are well connected to Silicon Valley, and so the projects will come to you, and then you'll, again, work in groups of about 5. Okay, next. Career opportunities, very important. We update our career outcomes every 6 months. Right now, with the last graduating class, I can tell you that 73% were fully employed at 6 months after graduation. Some of the companies where our MSBA, business analytics students, are employed are places like Roku, Samsung, Agilent, Facebook, Google, Apple, some of the bigger ones, but there's lots of other smaller technology companies. Silicon Valley has about 6,000 tech companies in and around campus, so lots of opportunities there. Some of the roles that you might expect to get would be business analyst, data architect, machine learning engineer. Those are the most common roles pursued. Next. Okay, let's talk about finance and analytics. So finance and analytics is a more narrow focus. It's really for someone who's more interested in finance. You'll be prepared to evaluate risk for companies, whether it be investment or other management strategies. You'll be able to interpret and analyze financial information and develop some models to assist in decision making for these companies. And it also will strengthen your skills in leadership and collaboration. So great program. So let me tell you a little bit about the details next. It is also STEM designated. So it's the same things that I mentioned for business analytics still applies. 12-month OPT, 24-month extension. Now we have 2 different options. One is a 9-month and a 16-month option. So it's entirely up to you. If you choose the 9 months, you'll graduate after 3 quarters, fall, winter, spring. 16-month option, you'll have an additional summer quarter and fall quarter, again, working on a practicum and capstone project. The 9-month program will still have experiential learning. It'd just be in a different type of format. Schedule still evening and Saturday option. Same applies, 36 units to complete the degree. You pay by unit for any given quarter. So some of the core courses that you'll take would be corporate finance and financial analysis, math for finance and analytics with R programming, database management, econometrics, investments, and then data analytics with Python. You will take 16 units of electives. And again, just like business analytics, you have a wide variety of electives to choose from. Some of the choices would be behavioral corporate finance, mergers and acquisition, business valuation, introduction to fintech, and of course, big data modeling and analytics. Again, students will also have the option of an industry capstone project, usually more geared toward the 16-month option, although the 9-month will have experiential learning as part of their programming. Next. Great. Career opportunities. So again, this is updated every 6 months. The last notation that we had 100% of our MSFA graduates were fully employed after 6 months. Again, that's a fluid number. It changes every 6 months. Some of the places where our finance and analytics students are employed are places like Western Digital, Cypress Capital, eHealth, Marvell. And there are 3 different types of career paths that our students usually take. The first one is corporate finance. So you could work in a place like Apple or Microsoft. The next is investment and commercial banking. So you could work in a place like, let's say, Wells Fargo, Deloitte. And then there's probably the other option, which is private equity and venture capital consulting. We are in a great area for venture capital, so if that's your interest, there are lots of career opportunities available in the area. Next. Okay, lastly, our information systems program. This is really a unique blend of business and information system courses that will really lead you towards your growth as a leader in the technology industry. It's one of our oldest programs here on campus. It allows you the understanding of the context in which business systems operate. Remember, we are in a business school. Give you the knowledge and technical aspects of information system design. And it really teaches you how to apply technology to solve business challenges. Again, it will allow you the opportunity to design, build, and manage information systems, that knowledge. And it really takes the technology principles and applies them strategically to business needs. Next. Okay, MSIS program details. Also STEM designated, full and flexible part-time options. Again, evening and Saturday classes, cohort style with elective options. This program requires 48 units to complete the degree. Also unit-based, so you only pay by the number of units that you are registered for in each given quarter. So some of your core courses that you're going to take are object-oriented programming, database management, system analysis and design, and again, a lot of elective classes available to you, visualization using Tableau, web programming, Python, big data analysis, natural language processing, mobile payments, and again, the students have the opportunity for a capstone industry project. Some of our students in the past have developed some of their own, applications. So exciting area for students to study. I also want to mention, as before we go to the next slide, is that I will allow the opportunity for you to ask more questions throughout. So bear with me as I move through these slides. I really want to hear from you. Next. Okay, career opportunities. So 90% of our students were employed fully after 6 months of graduation. Some of the companies that our students, our MSIS students, are employed: LinkedIn, Amazon, Applied Material, Yahoo, McAfee. Some of the roles, more common roles, would be data analysts, data engineers, database developer, project manager, and product engineer. Next. Okay, so let's just jump into just a rough profile of all of the specialized master's classes. The average GPA is 3.3, the average GMAT is 658, the average GRE is 309, and roughly about 2 years of work experience, and the average age is about 27. Now keep in mind that this is a a broad profile. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Next. Okay, job outlook. That's really important for everyone who's going into any type of graduate program. So we have an amazing career management office. They do a wonderful job with career checks or company visits. They also host a series of corporate information sessions, career workshops, seminars. We also host career fairs and other networking opportunity, one-on-one coaching, mock interviews. They are really looking out for you and your job prospects. They want to make sure that they provide you with as many resources as you need to find that job that you are looking for. So definitely take advantage of these resources. They're not required, but we always feel that the students who are the most engaged in getting, you know, the resources that they need to apply and to land that job are the ones that are most successful. So definitely take advantage of these opportunities to help you and guide you through that job process. Next. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the application requirements. So we are on a common application, which is called Business CAS. There are a number of schools that are using the common application for business schools. We require a personal statement, a resume, the GMAT or GRE, the TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo, if applicable. As I mentioned to you, there are some prerequisites for each of these respective programs. So you definitely want to go to our website and learn what those prerequisites are. Again, business analytics requires 2 college level courses of calculus and 1 of statistics. Finance and analytics requires 1 college level course of calculus and 1 college level course of statistics. And information systems requires that you have a programming language, preferably C or C++. We do require a course-by-course NACIS evaluation for international degrees. Now, given that, we understand that there's a pandemic, we understand that there are a lot of schools who are not open. SpanTran will take an unofficial copy of your transcript and provide you with a course-by-course evaluation. The caveat is that once schools open, you'll be required to send them the official transcript so that they can do an official evaluation. And at that point, they will verify and authenticate the transcript that you originally sent in. We also require 2 letters of recommendation, and we do interviews for those that we know that we will likely admit and have join in the program. So given that, I want to talk a little bit about the scholarship. All of our scholarship, next, is merit-based only. There's no application needed for that. You just have to follow the deadlines for scholarship consideration, which for fall quarter would be April 1st. We do have a June 1 final deadline, but for scholarship consideration, it's April 1st. Now, as I said, there's no application needed. So what do we look for? We look for the same criteria that we use for making an admissions decision. So it's academic work, your test scores. We'll look at your letters of recommendation. What are your recommenders saying about you? We'll also look for any professional work experience that you have. And then really importantly is your personal statement. And I want to talk about the personal statement just a little bit because it's really important. When we're looking at an application, we are seeing your transcripts, your test scores, your letters of recommendation. Even your letters of recommendation are stories about you from somebody else's perspective. What we want to hear from you is your perspective. Why are you interested in this program? You know, what's led you to your interest? These are real and authentic responses to your reason for applying to any graduate program. And so, you know, you want to make sure that you craft your response in a very clear and crisp narrative so that we can really get to know you on a personal basis, okay? So again, scholarship consideration, you just want to follow the deadline. There's no additional application for that. Next. Okay, I want to open this up to questions. I know you have questions and I want to give you the answers. So Lakshmi, do you want to post those questions to me? How would you like to do this?
Yes, I'll do that. Thank you so much, Susan. We have a lot of questions from students. So I will start taking the questions which students have posted in the Q&A section. Students, in case you want to talk to Susan directly and you want to ask your questions directly, you can click on the raise hand tab. I will unmute you and you can ask your questions to her. Okay, so Swati has asked that what are the admission requirements for Indian students? Though you have already covered that point, I would request if you can, help her again with the answer.
Absolutely. So just to let you know, the application itself is the same for both domestic and international students. So what are we looking for? I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but I want to just cover it again. We are going to take a very holistic and comprehensive review of your application. So what does that mean? That means we're going to look at your academic record. We're going to look at every single course that you took as part of your undergraduate, and in some cases, maybe you even have postgraduate study. We're going to look at every course that you took. We're going to look at every grade that you received for those courses. We're going to check to see what your recommenders are saying about you, right? We require 2 letters of recommendation, so it's really important for us to get to know you a little bit about you from their perspective. Again, your personal statement is going to be really important. This is your only opportunity to tell us about yourself, your truest career goals, your truest aspirations, and how Santa Clara can help you achieve those goals. Again, we're going to look at your TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo score. Very important. The courses are taught in English. You're going to write in English. You're going to communicate. You want to land that job. So communication is pretty important. So all of those things together, comprehensively and holistically, is what's giving you your admissions decision. So it's really no different for an Indian student as opposed to a domestic student. The criteria is the same. We're going to look at an overall picture of what you have to offer, not just in your field, but also to your cohorts. We want to engaged discussion in the classroom, and everybody brings a little bit different perspective. So we're going to look very carefully at what you can bring to the table. Maybe you'll have a work experience, maybe you won't. Let's just say you're still in school. On your resume, provide us some of your academic projects that you worked on. So again, a very holistic and comprehensive review. That's what we look at to make admissions decision, and it's the same criteria that we use for making a scholarship decision.
Okay, great. So next question I am taking from Ahmed. Ahmed has asked that can anyone from different fields can apply? I am from health service management and a student of EEE interested to work in such fields.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have students from a broad variety of majors: psychology, health, computer and engineering. So your major does not matter. What we will look for, of course, is whether or not you've met those prerequisites. So very important, but absolutely, you can enter from any type of major or background.
Okay. Next, I'm taking a live question. Akanksha, I see there are a lot of questions you have asked. I'm going to unmute you. You can ask your question to Susan directly. You have to unmute yourself to ask questions. Akanksha Rao. I think there is some problem. Hi, Akanksha, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Hi.
Akanksha, you can ask your question to Susan directly.
Yes, ma'am, I have a question regarding the WES evaluation. So, since I have a BTech degree from a private university, so I have a GPA, like the credit system works on 4. So, do I also have to do the evaluation?
Yes, every student who has not been educated in the United States, even if your transcript is in English, is required to get the course by course evaluation. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, we understand that there are a lot of schools who are not open and they are not sending transcripts right now to Wes or any place else. This is where we recommend that you consider using Spantran, which is another NACIS accredited organization, because they will take your unofficial transcript and provide a course by course evaluation. When your school opens up, you'll have to send the official transcript so that they compare what you sent and what the official says to verify and authenticate. But yes, at this point, you do still need the course by course evaluation. Spantran, as I mentioned, is one of the ones that will at least, allow you to send in an unofficial transcript. So that would be the first place that you would probably want to start. You're welcome to go ahead and complete, the WES if that's what you choose. It will probably take you a little bit longer because, as I mentioned, a lot of schools are not open. I'll try to put in the box right here the link for Spantran if anybody is interested.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, I have one more question.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. So basically, you told that full-time international students also have classes, and even if they are full-time, they have to attend during the evenings, or they have an option for Saturday classes as well. So, yes,
Go ahead.
so there are classes in the morning, or is evening the only option?
Yes, all of our graduate programs are in the evening with an occasional Saturday option. So yeah, there's no changing. We have a really robust undergraduate business program, and so they pretty much take up all the physical space during the day, which is why we have our classes in the late afternoon or evening.
And is there like an internship or a co-op opportunity for an international student?
Absolutely. If you are interested in doing an internship, which a lot of our students are, absolutely. Our career office will help sort of you jump through that process by providing, mock interviews and one-on-one coaching. Now, keep in mind, internships are optional. It's not part of the curriculum, but a lot of our students will do an internship, say in the summer quarter. One of the things that is a requirement from Santa Clara University is that you have to have 3 quarters of full-time enrollment before you can actually take an internship. So other than following that rule, we absolutely encourage all of our students to consider applying for an internship, and many of our students do.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time.
You're
I really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Akanksha. Yeah, you have any further question, Akanksha?
No, ma'am. I'm pretty good with everything. I've cleared all my doubts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akanksha. Okay, next I'm going to unmute Mitali. Mitali Yadav, you can ask your question and please unmute yourself. Mitali, please unmute yourself to ask question. I think there is some problem. Students, you can click on raise hand tab so that I get to know that you want to ask question directly to Susan, and I can unmute you and you can ask question. I'm going to take next question, which is from Nabonita, and she's asking, what is the minimum GPA to enter the university?
I'm so glad you asked that question. That's really important. So I think, as I mentioned in one of our other slides, the average, GPA is 3.3. So keep in mind, that's an average. So that means that there are people who fell below that average and there are people who fell above that average. Keep in mind, you are not a GPA. You're not a GPA, you're not a GMAT or GRE score or even a TOEFL score. So we don't have any minimum requirements, but we do have, a rough estimate for each of the respective programs, what the average was for each of the programs and, the average GPA. So for instance, the average GPA for the MSBA program was 3.48. The average for MSFA was 318, and the average GPA for MSIS was 3.3. But again, that's an average. That means that some people fell below that and some people fell above that. So if you feel like, maybe your GPA isn't as strong as you would like it, that's okay. There's a lot of other things and a lot of other strengths that you likely have that will sort of compensate for that. That's where it's going to be really important to make sure that you choose the right recommenders, what they're saying about you. If you have the opportunity to, improve on your GMAT or your GRE, certainly we'll take that into consideration. So you're not just a GPA. We're going to look at your application very comprehensively and holistically. And, you can't necessarily change the GPA that you have, but you can certainly highlight the strengths in your application. So that's what I would encourage you to do. But otherwise, we do not have a minimum. Anybody is eligible to apply because you can, highlight the strengths of your application. But realistically, the GPAs that I mentioned, that's about average, and you can decide where you think that you can improve in other areas that might compensate that.
Okay. Okay, next I am unmuting Mohammad Samir Ali. Samir, you can ask your question.
Hello. Hi, Susan.
Hi, how
Good
are
morning.
you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I have a question. I don't have IELTS or TOEFL or any score, and actually, I am from IT background. I have 8+ year of IT experience. I'm a software developer. So, and my age is 33. So, am I eligible for MSIS course or any master's program?
Absolutely. Age is not a factor. And trust me, you would not be the oldest person that's ever come into the MSIS program. We don't even look at age as a criteria for admissions. You would, of course, still, regardless of your experience, sounds like you'd have a lot of work experience. You would still be able to, you would still be required to take the IELTS, the TOEFL, or the Duolingo. But you'd come in with a lot of experience, it sounds like. So I would, if you're interested in the MSIS program, I would definitely encourage you to apply.
Okay. Thank you. And one more question regarding since I am a professional, I'm working. So what are the like working exposure you are giving? Like any as a student visa, if you will visit US and during the time of course, I mean, what are the points we need to complete to work there?
So that's a good question as well. If you, let's say, attend Santa Clara and you, complete the program, you have the 12 months of OPT that you can, work within the United States. And then you also have the 24-month extension. So it's a 3-year OPT, which is available to you. Now, let's just say after that 3 years, if you land a position and the company would like to continue working with you, then of course it's up to the company. This is not relevant to Santa Clara itself. They would have to sponsor you for the H-1B visa. Every company is a little bit different, so I can't really speak specifically on, whether you would be able to secure that, but you do have the OPT and the extension for at least 3 years.
All right. So how much credit we need to complete to get the OPT? Like for MSIS, we have 48 unit we have to
That's right.
complete.
48 units to complete the degree.
Yeah, complete the degree. So to get the OPT, how much we need to complete? How much unit we need to complete?
You have to fully complete the program. 48 units and receive your business degree. That's what makes you eligible for OPT.
Okay. All right. I answer. Yeah, I got my answer. Okay.
So curricular based, I just want to add, curricular based, you have the opportunity to do CPT, right? That's while you're in the program. You can do that, but that's separate from OPT. So as you're a student, after 3 quarters of full-time enrollment, you are eligible for a CPT, an internship. Okay, that's while you're in the program. Once you graduate, you move over to OPT.
Okay. So what is CPT? I didn't understand that. CPT means any.
It's curricular practicum, right?
So,
Training. Yeah, so that means it's curricular based. It's while you're in the program, while you're in the curriculum. So that's where students have decided to apply, let's say in their summer quarter, to do an internship or to apply for an internship, and they do that during their summer quarter. You're still enrolled in the program. So that's CPT, that's curricular, practicum training.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Shaman.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Amser. Moving to the next question. Okay. Next question is from Ram. He's asking what score is required in IELTS for admission?
That's a good question again.
And plus he has asked further that I'm looking for MBA course. So what all thing I need to prepare before going to the college?
Okay, good question. So again, just like the GPA, there is no minimum. We do like to see on average for the IELTS a 7 on the IELTS test. For TOEFL, it's 100. And for Duolingo, it's 125. Those are our averages, and that's what we try to look for on an applicant's file. But again, if you fall below that, we hope that you will have some compensation that will show us your English skills. So whether on your GMAT or your GRE, we're looking for a high score for those sections. So very important. So that's just, something to keep in mind. Again, we don't have minimums, but we do like to see on the IELTS a 7 score. And can you repeat the second question again?
Yeah, so the second question that he has asked is, I'm looking to do MBA. So what all things I need to prepare before applying for the course?
Okay, perfect. I'm in the specialized master's program, so I will have you reach out to my colleague, Katie Bagley, who's the assistant director of the MBA program. I can tell you that the MBA program, on average, the applicants to the program have about 8 years of experience. We are looking for about, at the very minimum, 3 years of full-time professional work experience. So I'm going to put in the chat box an email address where you can email us, and you can set up an appointment with Katie Bagley, who is the assistant director of the MBA program. And she'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about the MBA program. The criteria for the admissions, what you need to complete, is the same. Our application is the same for all programs. So we require the personal statement, the resume, 2 letters of recommendation, transcripts. All of those things will be required, as well as all the tests, GMAT, GRE, or TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. The application is the same.
Okay, next question I am taking from Rohan. Rohan, I am unmuting you. Please unmute yourself and ask your question to Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay, so my question is that, so at present I am doing electrical engineering. So means I am second year, I'm doing second year BTech. So I mean in second year. So after completing my undergraduate, so is there any scope doing masters in electrical engineering in the university?
Yes, we have a School of Engineering that you might be interested. Other than the MSIS for the specialized master's program, you might actually be interested in the School of Engineering. I'm going to also give you a couple of resources. I'm going to put them in the chat box for you and for anybody else who might be interested. This is the email address for the School of Engineering. They'll have a representative that will be able to answer any admissions questions that you might have about the School of Engineering. There's a number of graduate degree programs that they offer. I also put the web address, both for just general information about the School of Engineering. And then I also put a web address for the prospective student website. So that will give you a little bit more information. But if you want to talk to somebody in the School of Engineering, again, they have a host of different types of graduate degree programs. Please reach out to them at gradengineer@scu.edu.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohan. Next, Krishna Raj. Krishna, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Actually, I'm a mechanical background student, mechanical engineering student, Susan. Actually, for a couple of years, I'm working in IT industry. Am I eligible for the business analytics course?
Okay, say that one more time. I have a little hard time hearing you.
Hi, Susan. Actually, I am a mechanical engineering background student, actually.
Okay.
And I'm having a couple of experience in IT industry. Am I eligible for the business analytics course?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, there isn't any specific major necessary for any of these programs. So the fact that you have a mechanical engineering background, great. I would encourage you to apply for the program that's, of interest to you. So background, no difference. Again, we'll ask that you meet the prerequisites for the program that you're interested in. But otherwise, yes, absolutely. We'd love to have an application from you.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Any other questions that I can answer? I know you have questions.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. So I'm taking next question, which is from Sakshi. She's asking, I want to ask that I'm in last year of my graduation in ECE engineering, and this year is too busy for me, but I strongly want to know about GRE and how I can prepare for this as a beginner.
I would recommend for anybody who wants to take a GMAT or GRE test, do not take the test blindly. Do not register for the test and take the test and say, oh, I kind of want to see where, what score I get. Do take the time to prepare for these tests, whether it's the GMAT or the GRE or even the TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo. Do study for these tests. I've had many applicants over the years tell me that what they have done and what has given them the best preparation is to go out and get these free, testing exam kits, right? You will have the opportunity to see a real life examination with the real questions that they have probably in the past, maybe about 3 years ago, that you can study, and that you can actually take a practice test. Once you take the practice test and you see your raw score, then that will give you a little bit of information about where you should put your strengths in further study, right? So say, for instance, you don't do so well in the quantitative section. Maybe you want to spend a little bit extra time reviewing some mathematical, foundations, going back and taking a quick little study on it again, and then go back and retake the test again. So I recommend anybody who's going to take the GMAT or the GRE to please take a practice test first. See where you land, and make sure when you take this practice test that you are taking it under the same type of environment that you would expect in a real test. So that means turn off your phone, turn off your radio, turn off your TV, make sure that you're uninterrupted so that it sort of mirrors and mimics what would happen in a real life testing environment. That will probably give you a better, true estimation of where you are. Now, I know everybody is busy. I mean, everybody just doesn't have time to take it out, but I'll tell you, it's really important that you do. And one way that you can approach it, at least recommendations that I've had from students who've done really well in the test, is say to yourself, on Monday and Friday night from 9 p.m. till 10:30 p.m., I'm only going to focus on studying for my test. Prepare in advance. Try to do it at least 3 months in advance, and give yourself time. But if you dedicate yourself and you put aside some organized time, you'll find that your outcome is probably a better achievement in your test score. So that's my recommendation. Study at least 3 months in advance. Take those practice tests. They're free. They don't cost you anything. And take it under the same type of testing environment scenario so that you have a true idea of your score. Then you can study and register and take the actual test.
Thanks, Susan, for that. I've actually got a message from students saying that, can you please thank her on my behalf? It is a really amazing, informative session.
Oh, great. Awesome. Look forward to seeing an application.
Okay. So next question, I Shirine, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Shirine, can you hear me? I think. Hello, Shirine.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
How can I help you?
Okay. Currently, I had my BSc Management since 2014, and I want to pursue my Masters in Business this year or next year. So I want to know what are the requirements, and also the financial implications. I want to know everything about it. Where do I start from?
Absolutely. It's important for you to understand not just the admissions criteria, but also, what the financial costs would be for you. As I mentioned earlier, the tuition at Santa Clara is a little bit different, probably something you may not be used to, but you are charged unit-based tuition. So what does that mean? That means that we're on a quarter system, and every quarter you register for a number of classes. All of our classes are either 4 units or 2 units. So let's just say fall quarter you register for 12 units. That means that you're only going to pay for 12 units. Let's just say in the summertime you register for 8 units. You're only going to pay for 8 units. So depending on the program that you are interested in, let's just say it's business analytics, right? Your tuition, at least for next year, is going to be, 1,312. So fall quarter, you take 10 units, you would times that number by the unit base tuition. If you want to get the overall score, you can certainly do the total number of units times that amount. That will give you an idea of what your tuition would be each quarter. So I hope that kind of helps a little bit about how that works. As far as the admissions criteria, same thing. You're going to will require a personal statement, a resume. Will require 2 letters of recommendation, as well as a course-by-course NACIS evaluation. We also require, the GMAT or the GRE, and as far as English testing, the IELTS, the TOEFL, or Duolingo. So that's your application requirement.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Sounds like you have a happy baby there. Any other questions that I can?
Okay, next question is from Swati. Yes. There are a lot. So we have next question from Swati. She's asking, I want to know more about the scholarship and its merit. What will be the merit target for the scholarship?
Absolutely. So again, our scholarships are merit-based only. What do we look for? Your academic achievement. This is where your course-by-course evaluation comes in. We're going to look at every single course you took. We're going to look at every single grade that you received. We're going to look at your letters of recommendation. Do you have any work experience? We're going to look and see if you do. That's going to add to your overall evaluation. We'll also look at, your English testing score, your personal statement. Again, so important, that personal statement. It's really your only opportunity to tell us a little bit about yourself, things that we're not seeing anywhere else in the application. So again, all of those pieces very holistically and very comprehensively are going to determine, 1, not only your admissions decision, but 2, how much scholarship you are eligible. The stronger your application, the more likely you'll get scholarship. So that's how we gauge that process. It is very comprehensive and holistic review, and it's the same criteria that we're looking for in the admissions process.
Okay, thank you. Next question is from Hiranyesh. I am a bachelor's of computer in undergrad. It is a 3-year course. So can I join a MS course?
That's something that you will need to take a little bit extra step to determine whether your 3-year degree is the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree. Now, WES does have an equivalency tool. It's really based on the criteria, particularly in India, on the grade of your institution. So from what I understand, there are grade levels for the institution. I'm just going to say ABC. So based on your institution, their grade level, and your major will determine whether or not you meet the eligibility for that 3-year degree equaling the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat box 2 different things. One is an equivalency tool. So you can just go in, it's not going to cost you anything. I think they might ask for your name and email, but you put in your school, your major, your GPA, etc., and it'll return to you sort of a rough estimate of whether or not you meet the eligibility, your 3-year degree equaling the equivalent of a US bachelor's. So that's one thing. The second thing that I'm going to put in the chat box is basically how WES determines that criteria. So it really gives you a broad background on the 3-year Indian bachelor's degree and its equivalency, depending on, again, on the school and the major. So it's a good read. It will really help you understand how that works. But because we required the course by course evaluation, that's why we ask you to do that, not just for the minimum 4.0 GPA scale that we use here in the US, but it also gives us that equivalency.
Okay.
SpanTran is the same. So again, you can use the tool, the equivalency tool, for just finding out whether or not you meet that criteria. But you can also, and I put in there SpanTran, if you do, you're feel free to use SpanTran as well.
Okay. So moving to the last question of this session. This question is from Anubhav, and he has asked, do all the MS courses in the business school require work experience?
No, you do not have to have work experience to apply for this program. So no worries about that. So if you don't have work experience, how can you show your strength in your application? You can talk about your academic projects that you worked on. Maybe you did an internship. So those are things that you can add to your application in your resume. You could talk about them in your personal statement. Work experience is not required. We have a number of students who are coming straight from undergrad. So no worries about that.
Okay. Student, is there any further question you would like to ask? We'll wait for another 2-3 minutes. And if you have questions, please ask your questions, or if you want to ask question directly, please click on raise hand tab. Okay, I've got, this is from James. James, I am unmuting you. Please ask your question. Okay, James is showing offline.
So what I'm going to do in the chat box, I am going to put my name and email address. So if you have any questions that come up, maybe you think of them a little bit later on and tell yourself, oh, I wish I would have asked that question. Here's my email address. You may email me and I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, I got a question from Kush. He's asking, can you please ask her to brief more about personal recommendation and what does the university expects from us, and what should we elaborate in the letter to meet the scholarship requirement?
Okay, so one, you don't have to do anything as far as the recommender is concerned. So how the process works basically is you register your recommender in the common application. So basically it's their name, their email address, and their title, right? In the actual recommendation itself, they're going to get an email saying that you're applying for this program, and then it's going to ask them to upload a letter. So what are we looking for? We're looking for, we want to know, how does this person know you? What context, professor, colleague, employer. The other thing that we're asking the recommender is that they can comment a little bit about, your analytical skills, your writing skills, your communication skills. So I always tell applicants, before you reach out to your recommender, have a conversation with them first. If you can't meet them in person, fine. Email them, send them your resume and say, I want to apply, let's just say, for the business analytics program at Santa Clara University. Here's a little bit about the program, right? Give them a little bit of information about what this program is about. Then you want to say, this is what I've been doing in the last year. I've worked here, I've done this academic project, I've done this, that, or the other, right? Provide them this information. So that way, one, they know about the program you're applying to, and two, they know what you've been doing in the last year or so. It provides them with a context in helping write this letter. I can tell you that I've seen lots of letters over my many years of experience where it's a nice letter. You know, they'll say, you know, so-and-so was in my X class, and they're a very nice person. They got an A, but that's pretty much all they're saying about you. They're not saying really anything else. That's not really an informative letter. We really want to understand you as a person, and certainly, you know, the context in which they know you. We want to be able to have them say, you know, this person would be a great asset to your information systems program. I've observed them in the class on this project, and these were the outcomes. She or he communicated very well in presentations or whatnot. So there's a lot of information that we are asking the recommender, but you have to do your part. You need to have this conversation ahead of time with your recommender, the program that you're applying to, why you're applying to it, so that when they write this letter, they have some context. They know a little bit about what your aspirations are and information about why you're applying for this specific program. So do yourself a favor by having this conversation, whether it be over email, be over a phone conversation, provide them with a resume, give them some information before they write this letter. I think it'll be a lot more personalized if you do that. Does that make sense?
You have got your answer now. Yeah, he's writing. Thanks a lot.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, Susan, for taking out time. I think we are almost 10 minutes above the time, but thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I said, you know, my email, I put it in the chat. If you did not get your questions answered, or you think of a question a little bit later on, feel free to email me directly. I've given that email address. You can also reach out to gradbusiness@scu.edu, as well as msadmissions@scu.edu. So I hope everybody has a great evening. I really appreciate the time that you took to learn more about the Leavey School of Business, and I hope to see an application from you in the near future. And thank you to Shiksha. They're doing an amazing job in providing lots of different opportunities for you. So thank you as well.
Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much, students, for taking out time and joining this. I hope that you have got the questions for a lot of your queries which you had. And thank you so much, Susan, for such an informative session, and sharing the information in such a beautiful manner. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day, Susan. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.